as mentioned, we're not going to talk about every little thing that happens during 90 Day Fiance, but we're going to highlight some of the more important things that happened. So we're going to go couple by couple. So the first couple that I want to talk about is Rob and Sophie. So this is for episode 10. I think it's called, For Better or For Worse, or something around those lines. Anyway, this is for that episode. So Rob and Sophie, as we know, she does come out to him, and I think he took it just about as well as I thought he would. Now, does he have important things that he says in terms of, how do I know you're not going to act on this? How do I not know you're not going to want to act on this later on? Like, those are important things to ask, because I've said it and I'll say it again. She's too young to be getting married, especially when you do have this huge part of yourself that you seem to want to explore, but you have not. So, with that in mind, though, I'm not discounting some of the things that he says, but it's how he says it, because he doesn't ask the right questions, I feel like. I also don't feel like she's being 100% honest with him either, because yes, maybe you haven't acted on it, but you told us, the viewer, that you, either the term she used was she had a crush or she thought someone was attractive, whichever term she used, she knew that from early on. So when he says things like, how did you just figure this out about yourself? Well, Rob, no one just figures this out about themselves. And for him to kind of go into, oh, how do you know you're bi if you've never acted on it? And it's like, okay, but I know maybe for heterosexual people it sounds ridiculous, but how do you know you're straight unless you've acted on it? That's ridiculous. You know you are. You know, even before you've acted on it, that you are attracted to the opposite sex. Same thing applies. Just because you are bisexual, even if you have not acted on it, doesn't change the fact that you are. The two things don't necessarily need to meet. And that's maybe just his lack of knowledge, which is fine, but it feels very accusatory when he says, well, like, how do you know if you haven't? And then to go into the other thing that happens, that he kind of says to her, well, if you're going to have sex with somebody, then I'm going to have sex with somebody. You're immediately going into this tit for tat situation when it's like, okay, do I understand what he is saying? Yes, because now you're talking about an open relationship. It wouldn't be fair if she, whether male or female, it wouldn't be fair if she's opening up herself even physically to somebody else while he's sitting around twiddling his thumbs. It's either you guys are going to be in an open relationship and you've discussed that as a couple, or you tell him, this is who I am, but I have no intention of acting on it, especially if you do not want me to, then that's a side of me that I'm going to have to forfeit. That's just how this works. Like, I couldn't act on that if I wanted to, if that was a part of me, and it's not. But if it were to be, or I want to explore with just anybody, it doesn't even matter. I couldn't do that if my partner doesn't feel comfortable with that. So, and I think a lot of us can say that, again, open relationship is an option for some people. But I think we can all agree here for her, and she says it very clearly, that is never going to happen. She never wants him to be with somebody else. Well, the same can apply here. But again, there's just this level of dishonesty coming from her, and I don't know if that's coming from fear, which I will not pretend to know what it's like to come out. I have never had to do that. But from what I hear, it's not an easy thing to do. So maybe there are things that she's keeping to herself because she is afraid. But she has said, maybe he'll let me. When clearly his reaction is not really conducive for that to happen. But I really don't have anything else I want to discuss with them. Again, this is not a full recap. So we're gonna move on. Except for his ass is cheap. Let's move on to the next couple I want to talk about. Oh Lord, Sam and Citra. So, first of all, their meeting seemed very cute. Whatever, great. Let's back up a little bit. He says, okay, yeah, she knows I am an addict. She knows I've been arrested fairly recently, but she doesn't know that I could be facing jail time. So he explains to us that he was caught by police. I think he was with somebody else in a vehicle with, I can't remember the drug he said it was, but he had drugs on him with no prescription, and he therefore had to go in front of a judge. Now, I'm not sure if he broke probation, if he was already on probation and broke it. I'm not sure. That's potentially what happened. Or, anyway, he isn't telling her that, by the way, I might need to go to prison. Yikes. He literally tells her this kind of while she's there. We see him next time on. But I'm just like, sir, maybe you should be telling her this because it's a big thing. It's a big thing for somebody to potentially end up in prison when you're about to get married. Like, what? I don't see this happening between them at all. Guess we'll find out, but not great. But then he also has a conversation with his family because they're having a barbecue. And he has a conversation with his family about the fact that he does need to convert to Islam, and his family, who are Christian, are like, well, why need to do that? Which I don't disagree with his mother, who says, like, why should someone have to convert to a different religion if that is not their belief in order to marry somebody? And his response is, well, she's not forcing me. Yes, she is. She is forcing you, or at least her family is forcing you. Because if you didn't convert, you wouldn't be marrying her. So that's forcing, nonetheless. What I really want to talk about here is not so much about that, because we know this is something that has to happen. But his mom says, well, do they celebrate Christmas? Ma'am, do they celebrate Christmas? You mean 'tis day that Jesus was born? Jesus, who is the head man, the person we look up to as Christians and Catholics. Jesus' birth. Okay. Now I know. That's not Jesus' birthday. I'm well aware. It's pagan date that was picked. Whatever, it's winter solstice. I know this. But, really? Now I know know there are some religions, some people in different religions that will celebrate. I had a friend who was Hindu who did, not obviously in the same way that Christians or Catholics will, but it is something that is done kind of because it is kind of this technically pagan holiday, so whatever. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, ma'am, she's Muslim. They don't celebrate Christmas really because it's not a Muslim holiday. So, no. But then the kicker with him was, well, no, they don't. I think they celebrate Yom Kippur, and I said, oh my god, dude, that is a Jewish holiday, not a Muslim holiday. I think what you're trying to say, which I'm sure there are other ones, but the more like known holidays or traditions that happen in Muslim religion is Rosh Hashanah. Maybe that's what you're trying to say. But I mean, no, Rosh Hashanah, that's Jewish too. Ramadan. Jeez. Ramadan. But yeah, I'm just thinking like Yom Kippur. Anyways, that's kind of that. There's not really much else that really happened in this episode that I really wanted to talk about. Ashley, actually, who I do want to talk about, is, this is the last couple I'll be talking about in this episode, because again, the other couples, not much really happened, that I feel we need to talk about, but in this episode, this is the final couple, this is going to be pretty short, Nick and Devin. Now, mainly, who I want to talk about is Devin. Is she okay? I know she's really not okay because we know she drank a lot during film and everything, but are you okay, ma'am? Because she acts even younger than 23 years old. She acts like a 10-year-old who sulks in a corner when she doesn't get her way. Her whole now, I understand when you have a vision for what you think your wedding is going to be, especially your dress, and that's not the way it ends up being. I 100% understand that. But she doesn't know how to regulate her emotions. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? You're sulking. You're not adapting or bending because your mom is trying to give good advice here by saying, let's get a backup dress just in case your dress doesn't come through. At least you'll have a dress. And the first dress she wore, she looked beautiful in. I liked it. Yet she's just sitting there sulking and kind of being like, I don't want a backup dress. I don't want that. Like, no. And I'm just like, grow the fuck up. You're about to be somebody's wife. I understand you have a vision. I understand that. But I can't even call you a bridezilla because you're literally sitting there sulking in the corner because you're not getting your way. And saying that your mom's the problem. That she tries to push things and tries to make you guys do things. And it's like, no, she's giving you good advice here. So then she says, don't come complaining to me. The dress isn't what you want it to be. Because I tried to remedy the situation by buying this dress just in case of anything. Just in case. I think there's nothing wrong with that. This is child, because that's how she's acting. It's just kind of mopey and sulking. I'm here, aren't I? Like, what the fuck is that? Again, understand completely that dress is not what you expected it to be. But don't sit here and just get me like, I can cry if I want to type situation. It is just, it doesn't, It's very childish. It's very childish. They did not make me feel good at all. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I mean, I think Nick kind of was, spoken to, and he kind of understands. Maybe he needs to tone it down with nicknames. But otherwise, like, I really have nothing else to really say about episode 10. But that's kind of that for episode 10. Okay, and this is for our episode that came out on December 17th. So our final episode for 2023. Again, I'm not going to be talking about everything that happens in this episode, but I am going to talk about a couple of couples here. Number one, we're going to say Nick and Devin, probably done with for the season. They are now married. They're the first couple to get married. Congratulations. Yay. And thank goodness everything went well with her dress. So, perfect. That's all I'm going to say on them. And the other couple that I'm going to talk about very briefly is Sophie and Rob. First of all, the way he talks to her is disgusting. Give me an hour. Let me hear the birds chirping or some shit. I'm like, sir, you don't give a shit about the birds. And although I understand, give me a minute, I get it. I think, like, the biggest thing here is that you're just mad that she's asking you for anything. Because I really, truly feel like this guy is with her because she has money and he doesn't. That's my thoughts and my feelings on him. So the fact that she's asking him for anything, it's just like, how very dare you kind of attitude that he has. And it's like, fuck you, dude. Like, anyways, nonetheless, he doesn't know do Vegas. Let's move on. The whole disagreement or argument that happened at this sex shop is, listen, I'm very confused by it because I feel like in this case, I have to kind of put a little more heat on her than him, because there's this random person who clearly is producer driven here talking about the fact that both of you guys are really cute and clearly wants to be a third, and which is okay, but I mean, listen, I've been in a sex shop once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5 times, and never has that happened. Like, I haven't gone in with my boyfriend, but I have gone in with, like, my ex or other exes I've been in with before, and I've never seen that happen. Like, come on. No, that doesn't happen. So clearly this person was a producer planned, but they asked us to say this or whatever, and Sophie kind of encourages that, a little bit. Ask him, what do you feel about it? And because he chooses not to answer, because he just wants to maybe self-preserve in this moment, he probably really knows, like, I cannot win either way here. And he kind of, I'm not gonna say does the right thing, but does probably something I feel like any man would do in that moment. And she gets mad at him about it. Like, and has this argument with him about what exactly? Because you're mad at him that he didn't give you an answer, but you would have been mad if he agreed to do it. And you probably would have been mad if he didn't agree to do it, because then you probably would have thought he's not agreeing because of the fact that you just came out to him. The man couldn't have won either way with you in this moment. But I'm literally sitting here thinking, why are you arguing with him over this? It was very confusing to me. These two have absolutely no business getting married. They don't get along. And again, the fact that these two are, first of all, I'm all for the sex shop. It's fun getting toys, incorporating toys, It's not an issue. No issue there. I do it. Lots of people do it. It's fine. But when you're having issues and not having sex for whatever reason, because you're not getting along, whatever, maybe the proper thing is to have a conversation than to jump to the sex shop, because you need to be in a right place to be able to have sex in order to be able to use those things. I'm just saying. Like, yeah, sure, maybe you'll have sex because the novelty of it, you want to try these new things. But once the novelty wears off, you're right back where you started. So that's just me. But anyways, moving on. I have nothing more to say about them. I do want to very quickly talk about Ashley and Manuel. I don't have a whole lot to say here, but it's been a minute I haven't talked about them. I don't recall talking about them before going on break, so I want to talk about them. Miss them. So, she's getting her dress. Great. Yay. Am I incorrect, or did she say that the dress was a mermaid style dress? Because, honey, that was not a mermaid style dress. I know that was, I don't want to say ballroom, but more, what's the term I'm thinking? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That wasn't a mermaid dress. Anyway, the crown, listen, I'm all for whatever is going to make you feel better at your wedding. If you believe in the crystals, and I do think crystals really do have powers or are able to give you what you need in those moments. I don't have anything against crystals. I don't go into that because I don't personally understand. I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? But if that's something that you really truly believe in or want to incorporate into your life or whatever, I'm all for it. All for a crystal. But a whole ass crystal crown is a new one. That's new. It's very new. I don't know how I feel. It's a choice. Let's say that. It's a choice, but her mom really does speak a lot of truth here and kind of be like, you get mad, you fuck, you get mad, you fuck, and where's the communication? And of course, Ashley wants to defend her relationship, but honey, she's right. Where is the communication? When are you guys talking to each other and making sure that you're actually having conversations about the issues that are going on in your relationship? That is a toxic relationship. And you want to sit here and say that is the most chemistry you've had. I don't know, but I would think, eventually chemistry runs its course, or anything having to do with the chemistry runs its course. The novelty of that physical attraction and that sexual attraction, that's gonna not wear off, but it's gonna not be the forefront. You want to make sure you can maintain your relationship past those things. And have those things actually complement your relationship, not be the forefront to your relationship. So, if she doesn't want to hear it, that's fine. Cool. But then I did love that her mom ends up having a conversation with him on her own. And I mean, honestly, the things that he was saying, I don't really disagree with him. With some of the things that he was saying to her, it's just, I don't know. At the end of the day, I mean, maybe this is a spoiler, so skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this, but we know they're together, we know they're married, and the rumor has it that they are pregnant. So, it is what it is. Good luck, I guess. Anyways, moving on to the final couple I'm going to talk about from this episode. Again, very briefly, and that is Clayton and Anali. So, guys, he finally met his best friend, Cameron. They're in San Diego. The place that he got for them was gorgeous. Very nice. And I feel like it is not cheap. But the fact that he's like, oh, I splurged with him, like, protection did. Anyways, it's a very nice place. Nonetheless, they go out. For those who didn't watch the episode, they go out to, meet Cameron and his girlfriend, V, I believe was her name, right? And he orders a drink. Clayton says, make it a virgin, because he doesn't drink, but then says, because I really am like a born again virgin because she's not having sex with me. What the fuck? And he says, well, what is she gonna do? Not have sex with me? Well, sir, any chance in fucking hell that you had to get laid tonight is completely thrown out the window. Are you fucking kidding me? Listen, there are certain things in your relationship that should be kept to yourself. This is one of them. You're shaming your soon-to-be wife for not fucking you. That's what you're doing. You're shaming her instead of just, maybe having a conversation with her and asking her, what's the problem? What's going on? We are a month out from getting married. We are barely having sex. Is it my mom and the hordes of animals? Is that the problem? Okay, maybe we need to get mom her own place. Maybe we need to get you guys your own place. To take the animals if you want to, whatever. But maybe that's the fucking problem. She says that's the problem. Now, does he have a point when he mentions when they went to Indiana, they still didn't have sex? Yes, but again, you're shaming her, and I wouldn't want to fuck you either. I'm sorry, but if my man were to do what Clayton is doing, I'm like, well, I'm not sleeping with you. My body is not a rite of passage for you to have or some shit. It's not your right to have it. It is a goddamn privilege, whether we are married, not married, whatever. It is not a right, it is a privilege. And you're not gonna get the privilege if you're gonna piss and moan about the fact that you're not having sex with me. This is what he doesn't seem to understand. It's disgusting. And you're shaming her in front of people she doesn't fucking know. This is supposed to be a fun night for you guys. Get loose, have fun. Maybe you could have had sex tonight, finally, but instead, you fucking shake. This is on you. You're the reason now at this point that you're not having sex. He's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. I want her to not fuck him, not marry him, and go home and say deuces. Like, no. Oh man, no. It's just, I'm sorry, no offense to Clayton. There's nothing redeemable about this fucking guy. Nothing. Fine, cool, you have a job, but all you do after your job is sit there and play video games that you've been playing for half your fucking life. You have a best friend you never met in real life. Now listen, I know online friends are real friends for some people, but for me, it's odd. And you have a mom who lives in a closet. You have guinea pigs and dogs. You are all overweight. Do they go on walks? What is happening? The dogs. And I don't get it. What is it? I don't understand. But nonetheless, she is choosing to be with this person, whatever, fine. Is it weird that she's not sleeping with him? Sure. But there's a way to handle that, and that's to have a conversation with her about it and figure out what the issue is. Because she's probably going to tell you the issue is your closet mom is the problem here. Like, anyway, that is basically it that I have. I guess the only other couple I didn't really talk about here is Sam, and I realized the proper pronunciation of her name is Citra, I think. Citra. I'm gonna stick to Citra until I can remember that. I think it's Citra though, but anyways, we're gonna say Citra just for my peace of mind because that's what he calls her. He doesn't say her name right. I'll wait for her family again to say her name again and hopefully it'll stick. There's only other couple I didn't really talk about. Of course, she's finding out that he is potentially going to do jail time. We'll see how that goes. He's talked to her father about that, and she's not happy. She wishes that he told her before, but that would have been helpful. Anyways, love that his dad was wearing a St. Jude t-shirt. And nonetheless, that's kind of really all I have on them. We had no Nikki and Justin Igor, thank God. We had Jasmine and Gino. I have nothing to say there. It's fine. They're cool. Whatever. Nothing to say there. I think that's kind of the only thing that's it. The only couple we did not have was Justin, Igor, and Nikki, which again, I'm gonna say it again. Thank God. I'm so over the storyline. Anyway, that is it for the recap of the episodes. We're going to jump in with the new episode on a separate one. So, because this is already half an hour, and usually those go a lot longer, the full recap, but we're going to get right back into normal programming now. So, with that said, hello everyone, have a safe and happy holidays, and yeah, the usual stuff here. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to Facebook at Reality Tea Times 2, Instagram and Threads at Reality Tea Times 2 Podcast, Twitter and Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. You can go to our website at solo.to/reality tea times 2, and you can also email us at realityteatimes2@hotmail.com. But that is it for now until we hop into the regular recap episode. Thanks, guys. Bye.